Good morning Flosstube. I'm Sarah and you are very welcome to my channel Sew Me Sarah. It is Sunday the 8th of March 2026. There is blue sky and beautiful fresh air outside, so it is beginning to look a little bit like spring. I'm going to whisper it just in case I'd scare it off. So hopefully we'll start to see some blue skies. There's been an awful lot of long days with grey sky here. So blue sky is much welcome. I wanted to say a great big welcome to all of you who are here today joining me. If you're new, thank you very much for stopping by and spending some of your precious time trying out the channel. I hope that you will enjoy what I have to share here. If you are a stitcher and you are looking for someone whose stitching is like yours, you might discover that I am, or you might discover that I am something different to you. I quite often like to watch Flosstubers who stitch things that are different to my normal tastes too. But if you decide that this channel isn't for you, that's okay. You will find your tribe. There are many of us here with different personalities, different stitching preferences, and different styles of presentation. So keep looking and make sure that you capture the fun of being part of the Flosstube community. Those of you who are regulars, who come back time after time, have been long time subscribed, I thank you so much for your support and for helping to make the community here a place I love to be. And I hope that you love to be too. Since the last time, I don't have very big life updates. Life is just settling, which is nice, and yeah, nothing major to report. I do have some lovely happy mail to share with you. So this week I received 2 little packages in the post, and both are gorgeous. So the first is from a viewer. I forgot to ask both of the ladies if I could share their names, so I won't share them today. But the first package is from another Northern Ireland stitcher, and she sent me a little thank you gift, and it is a beautiful scissor fob. So she has stitched it herself. There we go. And added beads, and it's got a design on the reverse too, a lovely little heart on the reverse. And it's got this lovely ribbon so that it can dangle off my scissors. Haven't I got the perfect pair of scissors to match with this scissor fob? So thank you so much for this. It is so pretty. And I know you said not to look closely at the stitching, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with the stitching. It's beautiful. And your little beads on the side are gorgeous too. So thank you for this. And you also sent me a skein of DMC 115 for my stash, which I love. Thank you very much. With a lovely note and some little gifts for Charlotte. The chocolate bunny lasted about 3 seconds after she finished her homework the afternoon that the parcel arrived. And she is busy with her butterfly stickers as well around the house, so that's fun. Thank you very much for your kindness. You did not need to do that, but it's very sweet of you. Another viewer very kindly got in touch and asked me if I would like a particular chart that she had finished with, and I said yes, and it is this heartstring samplery, We Belong. So if we have no peace, it is because we have forgotten we belong to one another. I love this idea of remembering that we belong to one another. I think that's very pertinent always, but particularly now. So you can see that this has been autographed by Beth Twist. So thank you very much for sharing that with me, because this is quite precious from your stash. But thank you for sending me the chart. I will add it to my stash and it will be stitched one day. And you also sent me a number of DMC 115 skeins. So I have done really well on the 115 stash this week, which is really nice because I will be devastated when it's no longer available. So thank you very much for that thoughtfulness. Oh, I loved your little card as well. This card has Friendship Finds a Way, which is a sampler by Teresa Kogut. And I don't know if it's brand new. I know it's at market, but it could have been maybe a Patreon release during the year, but it is out at market. So I love that. Distance means so little when someone means so much. Isn't that such a sweet sentiment? That would be beautiful to stitch, but thank you. It's lovely on this card too. So thank you so much to both of you for sending me those little treats in the post. The other thing that arrived in the post since I last saw you was the fabulous blue envelope that I love to see coming. And this is an indication that something is coming from Swan Bay Fabrics, and it is the fabric of the month. So our Fabric of the Month Club is actually a bi-monthly club at Swan Bay Fabrics, and this is the second release of fabrics for the club. And this is the February fabric. I'm going to show you like this first, which is not really that great a view. This is 40 count linen. It doesn't have a name yet. Marie is actually running a competition to find a name for this fabric. It is a beautiful, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it justice in terms of color representation, but it is a beautiful color. Oh no, it's not showing up at all, so that's not good, because I really want you to see how gorgeous this is. Maybe getting a little bit of a hue there. It's a sagey green, blue, grey. Not too much green, more blue, and a little bit toned by grey is how I would describe it, but I'm no expert. But it is absolutely beautiful. I just couldn't love this more, and it will take a very special stitch for me to break this one out of my stash. But it's gorgeous, really gorgeous. I hope it gets a really beautiful name as well, and I hope it becomes part of Marie and Gunter's regular catalogue of fabrics, so that you can all get a piece of this for yourself. I really wish I could get a better colour representation of it. I don't think I can. Let me see if even against some white you might be able to tell a little bit better. So that's just making it look grey, and it's not an appreciation of the subtleties of the blue and green that are in there too. It's gorgeous, really gorgeous. And this time Marie sent us a little inspiration card along with the fabric. I thought this was a beautiful idea. So she has talks about the fabric and says, and shares then 3 different samplers that she thinks this fabric would work really well with. I think that's a super idea to give us all some ideas and help us to think outside of the box a little bit. Here she has started Maria Wells Newsom, which is the Hands Across the Sea sampler. And if you can see here, that the original is called for in a more of a beige cream neutral, but Marie has started hers on this fabric, and look how lovely that is. I think that is a genius idea for helping us to think about things a little bit differently. So thank you very much for that, Marie. And yeah, there's a little bit more information on the back side as well. So this is a lovely addition to the Fabric Club. I think there are still spaces in the Fabric Club. I will have a link in my drop down box below so that you can go and check at Swan Bay Fabrics if you are interested. And I'm sure there's an arrangement for US subscribers to the club as well, that Marie sends them to a distributor and then they are sent out from the US. So check that all out if you are interested. Okay. What else have I got to share? Oh, there are some giveaways that I need a little bit of admin to chase up and remind you about, and I've forgotten to bring them over, so give me 2 seconds and I will get those. Okay, so a couple of episodes ago I had 4 giveaways, I think, and I called the names on the last episode, and one of those winners I haven't heard from, and that's the winner of this, which is a little Mill Hill kit. The little love heart. and the sticky bead mat, and those are going together as one gift in the giveaway. And this was won by Squirrel Brain Studio, so if you are Squirrel Brain Studio, please get in touch. There's an email in the drop down box below that you can send me details of your mailing address, or you can contact me by direct message on Instagram. I'm Sarah over there on Instagram too. So Squirrel Brain Studio, please get in touch. I don't want you to miss out on this. And Beverly Bromwell, you won the Cotton and Twine February 2025 kit. And I know that you know, because you said you contacted me, you said you were going to email me with your address or contact me with your address. I haven't seen that. So if you have sent the email, I haven't got it. I don't know what's happened to it. So I'm just letting you know. I'll hold this for you, Beverly, but please get in touch and let me have your mailing address to email or direct message on Instagram will be great. And I will send that lovely Easter kit to you. Okay, that's, I think, all of the admin for today. So we can talk a little bit about stitching. I have a few whips to share with you, a couple of finishes and a few whips. It's not the biggest selection of whips. I spent a long time on each one this past fortnight. So then I'm going to share with you afterwards some goodies from my stash. And I'll explain why a little bit later. So also hang on to the end if you would like to see another giveaway. Okay, so that's my phrase, I think. When I am recording my Flosstube, I say okay, so a lot. And but we all say but some of us have particular phrases that we use quite a bit. And I think it would be fun to have a little one of you designers could do this. One of you designers could design a little collection of Flosstuber sayings. So we could have, okay, so I know that Brenda and Laura already have some that they say. So like, oh, say, and an H and an H. But anyway, there are lots and lots of designers who say the same. They have their own little phrases, let's say. We all have our own little phrases. I think it'd be quite fun to have a basket of those pillows. So somebody can design those and let us know. Okay, so let's, I hope it's not too noisy, sorry. Let me pull over my stitching and share with you what I've been up to. So my daily thread stitch had been the spring pillow from Flossabilities. And I managed to get it finished. I think it was very close to a finish when I last recorded. And I think I finished it a day or two later. So this is on an unknown linen. It is 32 count. It's a kind of lavender grey kind of shade. It's beautiful. It was a gift from a viewer. And it's beautiful and sets off the yellow, which is Sunshine from Roxy Floss Co. That's all I have left. But it is gorgeous and it's probably not doing it justice in the light in here this morning. But that is the spring pillow from Flossabilities. So I love it. I was really happy to get another one of these cute little pillows finished. So then I told you that when I was going to look for a new daily thread, I would maybe take a slight detour from the next Flossabilities pillow because I have several of those in lineup ready to go. But I wanted just to break it up a little bit with something else. And what I chose to stitch was one of Hanneke's designs. Hanneke from A Dutch Stitcher Design. She's on Etsy. And she is a Dutch Stitcher Design. And she has this little series of the names of God. And this one is Nekhama, if that's the right way to pronounce it. I'm sorry if it's not. But Nekhama means the God of comfort. And I have several of these patterns and I want to stitch them all. And this was the one I was really drawn to when I finished the spring pillow. And I just I want us to remember there is a God of comfort. So Nakama is the one that I chose to stitch. I used a, I don't think I brought it in with me, but I used a beautiful, here it is. Yeah, I used a beautiful Soie 103 from Overa Soie, and it is number 443. You're not seeing it terribly well here, but it is a soft red and I love it. So it didn't take very long, 3 or 4 nights to stitch up Nakama. Oh well, maybe a little bit longer than that, maybe 6 or 7 nights with one thread. Isn't it lovely? Very simple, but just so sweet. So I'm looking forward to stitching some of the other ones that I have as well. So thank you for that lovely pattern, Hanukkah. And yeah, I am going to get to the others. So that was a little break from the Flossabilities pillows, and I managed to get it started and finished in the fortnight. Let me just put the thread back in there so I'm not looking for it later on. And then I obviously needed another new daily thread, so I needed to replace again. And I went back to the Flossabilities pillows because I have the Easter one to do, and obviously the timing is right really for stitching the Easter pillow as we approach Easter. So this is the pattern cover from Flossabilities Easter pillow. And here is my little start. This is 2 or 3 nights. I think it's 3 nights on this one. And it's a little lamb. I don't know if it's very clear right now what it is, but up here there's a little lamb at the top. And yeah, she's kind of laying in the grass. These are the strands of grass. So that is the start on this one. I am using a 32 count linen, which I have for all of my pillows. Sometimes if it's been a hand dyed 32 count linen, I've had to go down to 1 thread. I did that for the winter pillow. So it was 1/2, but mostly I'm stitching 2/2 on the 32 count. This one is 2/2, and the thread is a beautiful Roxy Flossco thread. Actually, this is a Leo and Roxy, so it's an older one, but I'm sure it's still in their catalogue. And it is My Funny Valentine. Sorry, I'm hanging that in front of my face, although you could see it better. My Funny Valentine, and I love it on this blush linen from Zweigart. It's a very pale pink. Can you kind of see? It's one of my favourite Zweigart basics, the blushes. So that's my start on the Easter pillow. I'm going to just keep going. It's probably not going to be finished on time for Easter. Easter's quite early in April, isn't it? So I might get it finished by the end of the month. You don't know, but it won't be fully finished, but at least I will enjoy the stitch in season, as it were. That's it for the new starts and the daily thread. The next whip that I stitched on was Americana Blue. So here is the pattern for Americana Blue. It's an October House Fiber Arts chart. Beautiful chart. I started this one with Sally from Flossie Sews and Grows for our 50th birthday year in 2024. And I didn't do very much, if anything, on it last year. I did a little bit, a very, very little bit, and I didn't really get very far with this. So it's one of the stitches I do want to finish this year. I have identified 5 stitches that I want to get finished this year. So I am stitching Americana Blue in red floss. It's Weeks Dye Works Louisiana Hot Sauce. It's a beautiful color, really beautiful. Maybe slightly brighter red than I normally use, but I will definitely be using it again. It was suggested to me by my friends Nancy and Stacy in Mississippi, and they were quite right. It is perfect. So I have actually stitched on this quite a lot since the last time I shared with you. Last time I was sharing my woes that I had done quite a bit of stitching down here, discovered it was off and had to unpick the 400 stitches I'd put in. But I have moved on from that, and I did get quite a bit done, and that is thanks to the prompting of Andrew the runner stitcher. He is running as in physically running, but hosting is a better word. He is hosting another Whip into Shape challenge. This year he is doing it by recording walks that he's doing, and there are a couple of options that we can follow. So we can follow the walks. You can actually view those on another channel that he has. So you can actually see his walk and see a little bit of the world around him, which is really nice. It's very soothing. It's a very nice thing to do at the end of a stressful day. So you can watch the walks if you want to, or you can just take the numbers. So he has a spreadsheet with the numbers for how long he has walked, so you could stitch for that length of time, or how many steps he has walked as well. There might be distance too, but I have chosen to follow the number of steps that he has walked. Now, if he has walked 4,501 stitches, he drops the last digit, and the number of stitches that are required of us is 450, not 4,500. So he just drops the units, and we are stitching that number. So it is quite a high number. I think it's higher than the way that we did the running challenge last year. So there seems to be a little bit more, but he's not walking every day. So he's walking a couple of times a week, as opposed to his marathon training last year, which was almost every day running. So anyway, the point being here that it's a good stitch count, quite a high stitch count, and I have been encouraged to keep going on this project. And that means that I got from here all the way across, and then I was able to come down and do a bit more down here. So I love it. I got this all fixed as well, which is super good. And I'm now working to finish off this little, it looks like a little button border. I don't know if that's what it is or not, but it's very sweet and very rhythmic and regular, so hopefully I'll do it. This motif here was a doozy. I was really shocked. So this chart is really challenging me in terms of counting and paying attention, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. I know I had a little bit of a blip over here, and I really did struggle with counting these, but actually it's not a bad thing. And I did this one, and it was challenging, but it was also fun, and it looks really lovely. Up here, when I got to this box up here, on the chart it says 23, so I think that's the year that the model was stitched. So I thought about stitching 26 in, and then I thought, well, what if I don't get it finished this year? Maybe I'll just leave it blank until later. And then it occurred to me that I really should put 50 in because this chart was started with Sally for her 50th birthday. It was her choice for her 50th birthday start. And we were stitching it in our 50th birthday challenge year, the Fun for 50 Sal. So I thought, yep, I'll put 50 in there, and then it doesn't matter if I don't get it finished this year. But I am planning to get it finished this year. I'm still planning that. So I'm hoping that as we come down the chart a little bit, there will be some bigger blocks of stitching that allow me to just to feel like the progress is happening a little bit more. Some of these bordery bits feel like they take quite a while, and they're nice to do, but they just felt a bit slow at times. So I'm really pleased that I've got this much progress, and you can see it's going to be this kind of size now. So I think that visually that really helps to see the progress as it happens. So that is my Americana Blue. It is stitched on 40 count Speculas from Roxy Floss Co. It's a kind of a dirtier neutral. It doesn't sound very nice, but I think you'll know what I mean by that. It's a neutral, but there are some kind of grey tones through it as well. It's probably not one that I would gravitate to because I like lighter neutrals generally, but it is beautiful and it is taking this red thread really well. So there we go. That is Americana Blue in red. Next up is a little bit of progress on Cabin in the Woods, and this is another Flossabilities pattern, and I love it. This progress this time isn't really that spectacular, though. I'm working in this area underneath the house here, so I think maybe when I shared it with you last, we had these in, or started. So then I need to show you close up. I think I had the red and the creamy color in, and then I put it in the darker green around it. So I guess these are little flowers, but I put in the darker green leaves, and the green goes all the way around, and there's a little bit in between as well. So I did that all the way across, and then I just started with this fill-in here, which makes it a kind of like a ribbon or a band. So it's not the most exciting stitching just right at the moment, but it's all adding to the beauty of the piece. So that was my little bit. It was a couple of nights on Cabin in the Woods. So it looks really good holding it up, actually. Sometimes when you're working in it and then, you know, you roll it up, put it back in the bag, you forget, I think, sometimes to actually stop and have a look at the progress that you're taking. And so sometimes whenever I come to record on Flosstube, it's like, oh yeah, that does look quite nice. So that is my progress with Cabin in the Woods from Flossabilities. And then my last whip to share with you today is, I think this might be my biggest ever. I'm not sure. I thought a family portrait from Modern Folk Embroidery is the biggest thing I've ever stitched and finished so far. I think this one might be a little bit bigger. Not entirely sure, but this is a Saviour's Praise. Sorry, I forgot to actually tell you what it was. So it's a Saviour's Praise from the Shakespeare's Peddler. And I am stitching this on a 36 count 1/2. I've changed the colors a little bit, not very much, just a little bit here and there from the called for, in line with some color changes I saw Laurie Holt do. So I'm inspired by her, not necessarily using her exact color changes, but trying to find them. I don't know what her exact changes were. So I have a little screenshot of hers from Instagram, and I'm trying to find something that works that way. So one of the things she did was she brightened up the red. The original red is quite a dark, almost burgundy red. So she did that. She changed the color of some of these letters because they're quite ghosty in the called for. So I've done a few things like that. The basket down here, she changed the color of the stripes as well. So I did that. Again, mine are not the same color as Laurie's, but they're more like Laurie's than they are the original. So what did I do? I did quite a lot. I did quite a lot since I last saw you. Mostly the verse over here of the hymn. And what else did I do? I had only done the alphabet like to E and U. So all of this alphabet has been put in as well. I finished this border. It was kind of a third of the way across before. So I finished that. And I've added a little bit to these little borders here. Now, in some respects, I'm making adjustments to the pattern as I go, sometimes deliberately and sometimes accidentally. So, for example, over here, where we have M and N, M is actually stitched in 2 different flosses. So there are little bits here and there in the original chart where Teresa Vanette has called for a couple of different flosses. Mine isn't, and that's because I didn't realize. I didn't pay enough attention when I changed letters, and I just went ahead and I changed it to the floss that was started with, and then I stitched the whole letter in that without realizing that there were bits of it where the next color is introduced and then carried through into the N. So what I did then was just started the N in this color and then stopped it and moved on to the next color. So I've gone with the idea, just not the actual stitches. So, and it's not really going to make any difference to anybody. Although someone might think that I've made a mistake on N and stitched it wrong by doing it 2 different colors. But I know that it's okay. The other thing that I did was I added in the extra S on the word countless. So as charted, it has 1 S, and she does actually mention it in her little explanation and description of the chart. And she said, you know, if you really can't stand it having only 1 S, then you can go ahead and add it in. And all I had to do then was shorten this little zigzag line at the end. So I couldn't stand it, folks. I had to put in the extra S. So those are a few of the little things that will, you know, make a little bit of a difference in from the original charting, but they don't make any real difference to me overall. So I'm really happy with how much progress I made. At the beginning of the year, I said I would stitch this along with Roz Clark Craft, who is also stitching it, and hers is for a gift. So she's against a deadline for that gift. And I said, well, no, I really want to move this one on, and I'd be happy to stitch with you. And so my intention is to finish it this year. I don't know if that's possible, but it is my intention. The fabric is folded in half. So this is about halfway down, but you can see I still have quite a bit of the border to do to be halfway. And when Roz and I decided to start at the beginning of the year, I made a plan for myself. I broke it up into assignments to try and give myself a framework to work to. So I haven't been successful at keeping to that schedule. If I had kept to it, I should have quite a bit more of the border done. But I am okay because I'm making good progress, and it doesn't have to be finished by the end of the year. It'd be nice if it was, but it doesn't have to be. And actually having the assignments just helps me to keep pace, even if I'm a little bit behind. So I'm okay with that, and I am very happy with how it's coming out. I am looking forward to getting back up into the border. So when I pick this up next, what I want to do is finish this little line here, this little separating line, and this one. Oh, and these ones I also am doing a little bit in my own way, because Teresa has charted it with some deliberate mistakes. So I should show you close up. You can see it's just a little alternating kind of up and down single cross zigzag. So here and there on the chart, instead of having 1 stitch on the bottom line, there'll be 2. And then it goes on in a normal way. And then there's maybe 2 at the top or something. So that caught me out, so I missed it and spotted it later on when I was trying to work out why something hadn't lined up as expected. So I've just decided that that doesn't matter to me, those little deliberate mistakes that she's put into her design. They don't matter to me, so I'm just going to keep going and keep it regular, and then I'll get all the way to the side, and then this little single row of cross stitches, this little kind of like a little border between the main centerpiece and the outer border. I'd like to get that in and bring it down to help with the counting and spacing down here. So that'll be the next part. And once I've got those in, I'll move back up and bring the border around. So that's the plan when I next pick it up. But but I am really happy with how this is stitching up. This is one of the most beautiful stitches I have ever seen, just, you know, in terms of patterns. I'm not actually just praising myself here, but in terms of patterns, I just really adore this. So it's a pleasure to work on it every time I pick it up, and I hope it stays that way. So that is my progress on A Saviour's Praise, and that is all of my progress on the whips for the last couple of weeks. Oh, I'm going to show you this bag. So a couple of weeks ago I shared some of my project bags with you, and I realized afterwards that that selection of projects I was sharing, none of the bags were vinyl fronted. So I do have some vinyl fronted bags, and I love a vinyl fronted bag, and I hate a vinyl fronted bag. So I love it because it's just lovely. I made this one myself. I have a couple of others in the pile over here as well. And I love a vinyl fronted bag. I think they're so nice to make. But I hate it because I don't like to see all this mess. I'm a messy collector of threads and stitches, so you can see that I like to organize my threads on these plastic thread cards. I have them originally bobbinated. I don't normally put the bobbins into the bag, but these are all anchor flosses, and I don't have any other anchor flosses. I just bought anchor for this project, so so I just have kept them in here. Normally what I'll do is take them off the bobbins and onto the cards and keep the cards in my project bag. This is how I like to do it. I don't do this with I don't do it with fancy flosses that are already on their own floss drops, you know, from the maker. They would just be on a ring in a project bag. But if it's DMC, or in this case anchor, then that's how I'll kit. And when I haven't got enough of these plastic things, which just come from Amazon, by the way, if you are interested, you get like a pack of 10 for £7 or something. Let me show you actually, because now that I'm talking about it, I'm kind of blathering. Okay, so here we go. Some of you will hate this because it looks messy, but this is the way I like to do it. And what I do is I use little stickers, and I put my symbol and maybe the floss number on it. I don't always put the floss number on it, but with this one I did, because the colours aren't very known to me, because mostly they're anchor. So, and that's what the A is for anchor, and the D is where there's a DMC. So there's a little bit more information on these stickers than I normally put, but I would normally have the chart symbol right next to the floss. And I really enjoy doing it this way. So I know it's a bit messy. I know it can get rat's nesty, but you just comb it through and off you go. So that is one of my ways. The other thing I do sometimes is, there's two in here because there were, you can get 20 threads onto this little plastic card, by the way, 10 on each side. There we go. The other thing I do is put a needle minder on, and it holds my needle. So that's one of the ways that I use my needle minders rather than on the actual fabric itself. Because I stitch in hand, a needle minder on the fabric makes that very heavy, and it's just not, it's not a happy experience. But I love having my needle minders on there, and yeah, so that works. So that was a vinyl fronted bag and a dip into the floss cards. So if you have any questions, if I didn't explain, I wasn't planning to explain that, so I maybe didn't do it very well, do just let me know, and I'm happy to answer those questions. Okay, so that's everything I've done. So what's next is the plans, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with plans. I do know I've got the Across the Pond Sal piece coming up. That's the Bees and Birds Sewing Roll Biscornu and Scissor Fob from Stacey Nash that we are stitching across the first 6 months of the year. So I've got my March assignment to do for that, and that'll be on the cards Monday and Tuesday night this week, and maybe Monday and Tuesday night next week as well. Depends how well it goes. There's a house in the section that that we're stitching this time, so houses are always big. So I've got that, and I want to get back to Les Belles Lettres, which is the Madame Le Fay piece that I started for my New Year, New Start with my friend Kathleen, who is starting a different Madame Le Fay piece. So I like to get back to that again sometime this week as well. And then I guess I want to keep these things going, but it does feel a little bit like I'm only stitching a small number of different projects this year so far. And that's because everything has been so big. All of these projects that I've picked up are big ones. They weren't particularly far on in terms of progress at the beginning of the year, so they need quite a lot of time and attention. So we'll see how that goes. I do feel a little bit of an itch to try something else, but I'm trying not to be too flighty just yet. We'll see how it goes. I want to stitch a few other things, but I also really want to make progress. So I'm trying to balance that out. And while I've been thinking about all of this, I have been doing a little bit of planning of my stitching. And one of the things, you know, I love a little diagram, a little chart. I have my Sweet 16 board, which was always something I loved. I was trying to get back to. And so in my planning this year, I've got 2 Sweet 16 boards. They're really the same thing. But what I decided to do with this one up here is to put in categories of stitching. So, for example, up here we've got the oldest whip, the Historical Sampler Company SAL. So these are things that I know I do regularly and I come up with. The Across the Pond SAL. I have a couple of other SALs put in there. I have a category for a gifted stitch because I have received so many lovely gifts stitches, and I want to be able to bring those into my rotation at time 2. Then I have Modern Folk Embroidery, has its own category, as does red stitching, seasonal stitching by the solstice or the equinox. Some of these I'll come back to another time, but just letting you have an idea of some of the categories of stitching I decided on. Christmas stitching, bee stitching, fancy ladies, which if you know the channel, you know my fancy ladies are not Mira's. They're more like the Bee Queen and the Goddesses from Tiny Modernist and some of the Jardin Privé as well. So I've got some of those. I've got a category for smalls. I have a category for Labours of Love. And then I have 2 that I've just listed as open. So my thought process here is that as I am picking up whips actively, okay, I know I've got 36 or whatever it was I started the year with, 33 I started the year with, and then added a few. I think I have 36 now. So I'm not going to get 36 onto the Sweet 16, but in active rotation I have got these. So this one is Christmas Gingerbread Village, and it corresponds to my oldest whip, okay? And then down here I've got Americana Blue, and it corresponds to the red stitch. And Modern Folk Embroidery is Little Acorns, the Across the Pond SAL, the Bees and Birds Sewing Roll. So you can see how the category corresponds to one of the whips that's in my current rotation. And at the moment, I have 8 that are really in rotation. And you'll see down here that I have, so here's Easter Pillow, and it's in the smalls category. And you'll see that it's been stickered over because at the beginning of the year, I started with something else, maybe Valentine's Pillow. And then I had a finish of that. So I put a sticker over it and I write in the next one. And then I put a sticker over that when it was finished. And I would have had Spring Pillow and Nakama in here as well. And now it's Easter Pillow. So I just put a little sticker over this whenever that project is finished. And I know that that space is blank. And if I wanted to, I could bring a project from that category down into the whip rotation. I hope that makes sense. It makes sense to me, but maybe my brain is just weird. Anyway, why am I telling you all of this today? I'm telling you all this because I have been thinking about the things I'm not stitching, because I have all those other whips and I want to bring them in, and I will bring them in, but I haven't been doing it because I've got these big projects. And that made me think about the big projects and how over the last few years I have gravitated towards some bigger charts and bigger projects than I used to. And maybe it's growing confidence, or just falling in love with things that are really actually very beautiful. So what I thought I would do today is share with you some of the other big charts that I haven't even started yet that are in my stash. So I don't always share haul on the channel. I don't regularly have a whole section. I'll share with you, for example, that I got the fabric of the month from Swan Bay, or if a little bit of happy mail comes in, I'll share that. And I might share occasionally if I buy something, but I don't always share. So some of these things you won't have seen before, you might not know that they're in my stash, and these are all biggies, and these are in my category that I have, sorry, I'm wobbling the table, that I have called Labours of Love. And what they are really BAPs, except I don't really like the term BAPs. So here in Northern Ireland, a BAP is a bread roll that you put a burger in, or you make a sandwich for your lunch with. And that's fine. It's also a pejorative word, perhaps, for women's breasts. So yeah, it has mixed connotations, and I kind of think, I'm not sure about using BAPs. So I have called mine Labours of Love, and that just means they're really big. Helen D had a lovely name for hers. Oh, I've forgotten. But if you watch Helen D, she has, since the beginning of the year, she has called her huge projects something else as well, which I liked too. But anyway, my Labours of Love are just huge projects that are going to take me forever. So obviously in that list we'll have things like Woman in a Field of Flowers, which, you know, yeah, is a full coverage and will take me forever. What else is in there that I've already started? Saviour's Praise is one of those. Women in a Field of Flowers. Maybe not so many others, but I do have these ones lined up. So I thought I would share these ones with you. These are my Labours of Love in waiting, okay? And they're in no particular order, but I just wanted to show you the kinds of things that I've been gathering. I looked actually, and these ones are all kitted up, I think. And unfortunately looking at them now makes me want to start, but I'm going to share them with you. So the first is a Rosewood Manor. Is it? Yeah, Rosewood Manor, Turkish Delight. And this is from, this is inspired by Carrie at Evertote, Roxy Flossco, Carrie, and from the Between Two Whips Flosstube channel that she does with Caroline. Carrie was stitching this last year and finished it, maybe for a couple of years, and finished it last year. And I absolutely adored her piece. Absolutely adored it. I would not have bought this piece for the chart that's here. And I think it's just because the color of the fabric, it's not allowing my eyes, just my eyes, to see the beauty of the design. Okay, so that's not to say this isn't beautiful in its own right, but as I look at it, I think I can't really tell how beautiful that is. And then you see something like, and these are my inspiration printouts that I have put into my project bag. They are screenshots from the Between Two Whips Flosstube channel when Carrie was showing hers. So this is what I mean. You can see it much better on the white. You can see the actual pattern and design. Maybe my printouts aren't the best to be showing and sharing with you, but let me see if I can get some better ones. You see? I can see that so much clearer than I can see this. Anyway, that's all of that to say, I fell in love with it while Kerry was stitching it, and then when I said, no, I can't, I won't, I can't, I won't. And then I did. I kitted it up. So now I kitted mine in DMC. Obviously Kerry, who is a floss dyer, a beautiful floss dyer, has kitted hers in her own flosses, but I had a look at the flosses that she has kitted up with. I actually just used a photograph off the website of the Roxy Floss conversion, and I converted it to DMCs. So you can see I've made my own card this time. You see, I have the number and the symbol, and I have written on it what the project is, just in case it ever falls out. And these are the beautiful flosses. Let me see if I can share them a little bit better with you. Can you see? It's not the best way to show you flosses, but they are really beautiful. And I took the screenshots of Kerry's so that I could see where she placed the flosses and decide if that's what I want to do, because I don't think that she did a conversion that was a direct, if it's this symbol, we're going to use this, if it's this, it's this. So I think she played around a little bit with that, and I'm going to just try to follow hers and see if that's what I want to do. But hers was so exquisite that I was so inspired, and I went ahead and bought the chart and kitted it up. So that is Turkish Delight. The next one is a Teresa Kogut, and it is Serenity. I did share this with you. I think this was my purchase for last year's market, maybe. Or would it have been the year before? I'm not sure that it says in here which year. It's 2024. So it was either 2024 market or 2025 market. It's a biggie, a really biggie. So I bought this and I kitted it up. It's mostly DMC. You can see it's in there. I haven't organized it yet at all, but I have the flosses in, and some fabric chosen as well for that one. So it's beautiful. I love that. I don't know, it just looks quite unique. I think maybe this band of alphabet helps to add that unique sense of this. I mean, the rest of it's maybe not so unique. You've got a deer, you've got a house, you've got, I don't know, there's just something about it, and the colours are beautiful. And I've seen a few folks stitching it recently, and they're making lovely progress across the top. So yeah, that makes me want to get it started too. But all of these, I just know they're such big starts. It's quite a commitment to start them, especially when I've got so many other biggies on the go. But you know, maybe next year, maybe these will start to slip in next year. Maybe we should take bets on how long I can hold out. How long before I start one of these? Okay, the next one that's in my Labours of Love list is the Strawberry Banded Sampler, and it's by Vivian Powers of Vivsters, and this is available online, so it's a PDF chart, and that is the band sampler, and I love it. I love a really good band sampler, and I love this one. I love the colours of this, but you could change it. It's not very many colours actually. I think there are 4 blues and 4 or 5 pinks, reds. You can see kind of in there. It's a DMC, but I love the colors as they were, so I didn't want to make changes to them. But I think it's so elegant. I love every part of this design. So see, now I just want to stitch them all. But it's fun sharing them with you. I haven't shared most of these with you ever. Next one, you are all well within your rights to smack me on the head and say, what are you thinking? And it's not because it's not nice, it's because it's another full coverage, and I am woefully inadequate at progressing the full coverage that I've already got. A woman in a Field of Flowers. But this one I saw on Alice, the Honeybee Stitcher Alice, who shared this on Instagram at the time, and also when she was recording with Debbie at Creatively Yours. Alice, I told you last time, now has her own lovely floss tube, but this is totally inspired by Alice, and it is the Ornament Butterfly Port Mauve from Heaven and Earth Designs. Alice stitched this and it was glorious, and so I really want to stitch this one day. One day. I am not making it a condition that I have to have finished Woman in a Field of Flowers first, though. I'm not making that condition or it will never get done. There are considerably fewer stitches in this one than there are in Women. I think there's like only a third of the number of stitches that there are in Woman in a Field of Flowers. So there's maybe more hope for that one actually getting finished. But it's so pretty. It's so pretty, and Alice did a beautiful job of hers. My next piece is all kitted up with a piece of 40 count linen that I'm going to have to go and investigate because I didn't write it down. I normally write down. I put a little card into my project bags that tells me the fabric. I normally write the fabric in. It tells me the stitch count, and I have my cutting instructions whenever I'm actually cutting the fabric. And then I'll usually say what I'm going to stitch 1/2, for example, on this because it's 40 count. But it's a beautiful 40 count. I just don't know what 40 count it is. I think I will have recorded it somewhere else, just not here. So hopefully I'll be able to tell that. But this is for Wildflowers, which is another design by Hanneke of a Dutch stitcher design on Etsy. And this is the one that she first did from a sofa in a stately home in the Netherlands. And she got permissions to reproduce this section of the sofa arm. So it's beautiful, and one day I hope to stitch it. I do have it kitted up. It's DMC flosses. It's in my beautiful bag from Judith, who lives in New Zealand. Judith gifted me this bag when we met earlier in the year, or just before the end of last year, the end of last year. Yeah, so we've got lots of lovely colours of flosses in here on these little cards that I make myself again. I actually keep, this is a Christmas card. And I keep them, if they've got a white on the other side, just white on the other side, then we're good to go. Hole punch and write on it and away you go. So I know it's a straggly mess. It's not something I should be showing here on Flosstube, but not everything is beautiful and perfect. Okay, those are the flosses for Wildflowers. It's a very beautiful design, and I'm hoping one day it will be stitched as one of my labours of love. Last year at Stitch in London Retreat, I bought this one, Abecedarian in Red from Yasmin's Made with Love. I think it's beautiful, really beautiful. I know I've got a lot of red samplers on the go already, so it's going to be a number of years probably before I get to this one. But this was really interesting to me when I've seen the chart online and thought it was lovely, but when I saw it in real life, the model stitch, I was just, I'm going to buy that. It's really lovely. It was actually stitched on Barton clay from Swan Bay Fabrics, which is a kind of an orangey clay kind of color of fabric, and you wouldn't necessarily think of that for this, but it didn't look like it, if that makes sense. So something in the red floss almost drew some of the orange away from the fabric, so it didn't look quite so orangey. It looked amazing. I mean, really amazing, really amazing. So I was tempted and considered it. I have a piece of Barton clay upstairs. Now, I actually have decided against it, but, well, not against it, I've just decided for something else, and I'm going to hold on to the Barton clay piece that I've got. But it was really interesting to me because I would not have thought of making it as a red sampler, and I didn't ever imagine that it would change the colour of the fabric the way that it did. So anyway, when I came home, I remembered that I had been sent a lovely piece of fabric by a viewer. I was gifted this beautiful fabric, and it's called 90 Mile Beach, and it's from Country Stitch. And it has, oh, that is not a good representation of this at all. And I want you to see it better. It has orange tones to it, not as strong as the Barton clay. It's looking very gold here, and it's not gold. It is more orangey. That makes it sound awful, doesn't it? But it's not awful. It's beautiful, beautiful. But I'm not getting the color right here at all. No, it's not right at all. But it is similar to, but slightly lighter than the Barton clay. And that's really interesting because when I hold this up, those two look very different. But when I look at it down here, they look very similar. So it's really interesting what's happening with color on the screen. Anyway, you'll have to take my word for it that this is a good representation of the color that the picture is showing on the chart. It's closer to Barton clay than it looks, and with the thread that I chose, which is bandana, I think, is that the code for? Yes, the code for is bandana from Classic Colorworks. I think it's going to be beautiful. So unfortunately, I'm not feeling like I can convince you of that because this is such a bad representation of the fabric. But that is Abecedarian in red from Yasmin's Made with Love. Next is a piece that I've had kitted for a very, very long time, and I never started it because I've been indecisive about it for a while. So it is Modern Folk Embroidery, The Wings of the Dove. And my indecision is not anything to do with how beautiful the chart is or anything like that. I have originally kitted it with Ash Rose Lugana from Zweigart and Gutermann 12 weight cotton in like an ivory color. Okay, so you can see that I was testing threads down here to decide on color and count. So I think this is a 25 count Lugana, and I will be going with, this is the color then, that is this. So that's what I have. However, initially when I kitted this up, I had planned just to stitch this inside part with the borders, but not these kind of floral outer borders. So just the inside bit. So I'm pretty sure that I cut the fabric to that size, but I'll have to double check because now I am wavering. Should I do the whole thing? Should I do the whole thing? Now Hanneke is sitting there saying, yes, you should do the whole thing. Because Hanneke, from a Dutch stitcher, Flosstube, Hanneke has started and made really good progress. She's quite a way into this chart. And she is stitching the whole thing, and it is absolutely stunning. So if you want to see this being stitched up, please go and watch Hanneke. And when I watch her and I see her do these outer borders, it does make me want to do the outer borders. I think maybe at the time when I was kitting it up, I thought, I like the inner bit just a little bit less, not fussy, but it's a little bit more plain. to just stitch the inner bit, and that's maybe more me or whatever. And it would help to get me stitching it, get it through, get it done. But actually, things don't have to be rushed, and maybe I should do those outer borders. So that's why I never started this, even though I've had it a really long time. I could have started this. It wasn't like at the time that I got this that I had 100 other projects. So I'm sorry, I've created a lot of shadow today. I didn't mean to do that. So yeah, I need to make a decision. Then I need to see if I've got enough fabric, and if not, I need to change fabric. I did really like the idea of doing it on a pink, but of course, Rosing's Parlour from Swan Bay Fabrics would be amazing. If this piece of fabric isn't big enough, I could go back to Rosing's Parlour, and I could change my floss, because I'm not sure if the 12 weight, if I went with a smaller count of linen from Swan Bay, but I could change the floss type just to something, you know, not quite so heavy a thread. So that is another one of my beautiful labours of love and waiting. Goodness me, I have so many. I don't know whether to feel excited or annoyed with myself that I haven't started these, or excited that they're there, or ashamed of myself. I don't know. Anyway, no, we're not going to do shame. We're not going to do shame. I'm excited that they're in waiting. Okay. The last one that I wanted to share with you today, I did show you this last year. I bought it last year when I was away for the weekend, and we visited the Nimble Thread, or the Nimble Thimble, sorry. The Nimble Thimble. I've just read thread down here. And this is a drawn thread chart called Random Thoughts, and I bought the kit actually at the Nimble Thimble. She had it with fabric and silks. Now, I didn't like the fabric that was there. It was quite a green, I think it's summer khaki, and it's quite greenish, and it isn't how this looked. It isn't how the model looked in the store either. So I've just switched it out for a lighter neutral. That's looking green there too, but it's not. No, there. Okay, and those are the flosses kitted by Chris at the Nimble Thimble. So I would love to do this. This one has specialty stitches in it, and I really, really would love to get to it. Of course, I bought it last year thinking, yep, I will get to this. I will, you know. But anyway, as I said last time, it's a retirement plan. All of these are a retirement plan. Yeah, you can tell yourself whatever you like, Sarah, you've just got too many things. Anyhow, I have really beautiful things, and I'm excited by them. I'm inspired by them and motivated by them. I know that I've got an awful lot of current whips to get through, but I don't have to wait. You know, these are self-imposed rules, so I've got these things. We'll see. We'll see. I don't actually have any plans to start them soon. I just wanted to share them with you as a little bit of eye candy and inspiration for you too. So do you have labours of love? Do you have something you're stitching on that is enormous and is just going to take forever, but you love it? Do you have labours of love in waiting like I have? Maybe you could share those with me. Although maybe don't share too many in case I get inspired and go purchase some more things. So, oh, it's confession time. I did forget to tell you. And I should have said thank you. Sorry, this is related. I should have said earlier a big thank you to all of you who were very kind at the last video, and you offered to get me Brenda Gervais charts and send them across the pond, or you were able to suggest and recommend folks I would be able to order from. So I was too late for the Peakside pre-ordering, but I will try to remember it next time. And I know that Jeff P. Smith are in at market this weekend, and they have listed some of the charts that I liked. So I would be able to get them from them. I need to remember about those two sellers, that they go to market. I need to remember that they go to market, therefore they're able to pick those up. And I could try them again maybe next year for some of those charts. I do have Amazing Grace coming to me from a very, very kind viewer who has offered to source it for me and send it on. So thank you so much. That's so sweet of you. And also someone else contacted Stephanie at Just Keep Stitching Co. That's the same Stephanie from Pam and Steph at Just Keep Stitching Flosstube. She has a new online store called Just Keep Stitching Co. And someone contacted her and asked whether or not she will post to the UK. So Stephanie got in touch with me and she said, one of your viewers contacted me. I'm just letting you know that I do have flat rate shipping to the UK. It's $20 flat rate. And shipping is a lot, especially international, either way across the pond right now. It is a lot. There's nothing we can really do about it. But $20 isn't insurmountable. And if you do what I do, what I did, which is get together with a friend, you can split that. So you can make sure that you're getting a good order in for your $20. So it's not something that I would do all of the time at that kind of shipping rate, but certainly something I could consider for market pre-orders. And I did consider it for market pre-orders, and I placed a market pre-order with Stephanie. And as I said, I had another friend who placed some chart orders through me as well. So we just had one order that would make it worth the $20 shipping. So I am excited to have those coming. I didn't order Amazing Grace because someone had already offered to get that for me and send it across. And I ordered a couple of others of hers, and I'll share them. I can't remember the names of them, but I will share them with you when they come in. So I was excited about that. But thank you so much to all of you who tried to help me out, to help me access some of those charts that I was saying we find it really difficult to get here. So thanks a million for that. I think that might be just about us for today. I have one giveaway to share with you, and then I will let you go and watch someone else. Laura and Brenda are back. They have recorded last night or yesterday. I watched them last night. So if you're looking for someone to watch for lots of inspiration and stitchy chat, go and watch the Brenda and the Serial Starter. The giveaway is another of the Cotton and Twine boxes from the past. This one is from March 2025. Beautiful spring design with a bear. They're playing hide and seek perhaps in the forest with the owl and the squirrel and those beautiful bright flowers. Margaret gave me some of these boxes some of the kits from the boxes that she's not using, my friend Margaret, and she said I could share them with you. It comes with the backing fabric, which is a lovely yellow gingham. It comes with the pre-sorted threads and a lovely piece of 32 count linen in a kind of neutral color. It looks a little bit like platinum, perhaps, something like that. So there's the fabric and the threads. There's also a little piece of a sweet trim for making up your final piece. And oh, there is a needle minder in here too, which I didn't realize. Oh, okay. So it's a little bear needle minder. So that's very kind of Margaret to pass all of that on. And I am happy to share it with one of you. So if you are interested in winning this kit, you can let me know by leaving a comment down below and use the word bear in your comment. And I will choose use the random comment picker to choose a winner before I record next. So I will search, and the first person who comes up and has used the word bear will be the successful recipient of that chart. So I hope you have a great stitching day, afternoon, evening, whatever it is ahead of you. I hope to do the same myself. I have a walk with Andrew to do, some stitches to put in on Americana Blue, and then hopefully that will take me through to tomorrow when I can do the Across the Pond of Bees and Birds Sal stitching assignment for the month. So those are my immediate plans. after I get all of these lovely charts put away and don't slip them into my rotation. Don't start something new and huge today. But anyway, enjoy whatever you're stitching, and I will see you again hopefully in 2 weeks. So until next time, stay well and stitch happy. Bye.